What's going on, all you mentees? This is the Uncanny Omar from Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions, and it is finally here. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Last Ronin Hardcover. So join me for my overview. And here it finally is, the Last Ronin Hardcover. And this is a book that I couldn't wait to read. So my buddy Kyle got me the first issue last year because he thought there would be spoilers everywhere about this particular series. Luckily, I really don't get on social media much, so nothing was really spoiled for me for the ending of this or as far as the big twist. So in saying that, I am going to keep this overview spoiler-free. A couple little things that I have to talk about while I'm showing the pictures. But nothing really big or heavy as to like who the Last Ronin is, for example. But here we have the cover. It does not have a dust jacket. We have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Last Ronin logo, this particular turtle right there, Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. I love that they give Peter Laird credit, and I'll talk a little bit about why here in a minute. Tom Waltz, Isao and Isaac Escorza, Ben Bishop, and all the other creators. And there's an introduction by Robert Rodriguez. As a matter of fact, they take a little blurb from Robert Rodriguez up here. Riveting from start to finish, and I do have to agree with the man. Here is what the spine looks like. It's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Last Ronin, IDW logo down there. And then the back of the book. Who is the Last Ronin? No question mark. That's how epic this is. Retail price of the book is $29.99. And just a bunch of little blurbs, and then, of course, a little synopsis as to what this is. The big question that I've been asked, and I honestly didn't know until some of my subscribers were telling me, because this book came out at different points. Overseas, some of you all got it a couple of weeks ago. In Canada, I think about a week ago. Even some retailers here in America started selling it early. But the actual release date of this particular book happens to be today, and that is July 6th. That's what the book market and direct market have. So that's what I go with. But here is the hardcover compared to the deluxe edition hardcovers that IDW has been putting out. So it is a flat spine like the rest of these deluxe hardcovers. It's just a little bit, and I mean a little bit taller, not by much. I think if you put them on a bookshelf together and you put this as the bookend, you're not going to be able to tell. Now, of course, both of these are smaller than the classic Ultimate Collections. There is an omnibus type of book coming out later this year that's going to collect these and leave in the issues that Eastman and Laird didn't do. But these Ultimate Collection hardcovers, they just collect the Eastman and Laird issues. So it is bigger than both of these. But I think this is what most people wanted to know the answer to. So yes, it would look good on a shelf just like that. Again, no dust jacket. So let's go ahead, crack this open, talk a little bit about the story without going into spoiler territory, and of course show off this beautiful artwork. Alright, let's get this open. You have some red end paper. The Last Ronin. This image right here of the final turtle. Story by Kevin Eastman, Peter Laird, and Tom Waltz. Script by Kevin Eastman and Tom Waltz. Isao Escorza, Ben Bishop, Isaac Escorza, and Kevin Eastman doing the pencils and inks. And then, of course, the layouts. I love that by Kevin Eastman. Here are the colors by Luis Antonio Delgado. Letters and designs by Sean Lee. And then there's color assistance and cover art. And you have this beautiful introduction right here by Robert Rodriguez, who talks about his time watching the Ninja Turtles. His kids watching the Ninja Turtles. Uncanny Omar talk pretty one day. His kids watching the Ninja Turtles and reading the comics. And then getting an advanced copy of issue number 1. So here we have the first issue. This is the one that I read. And I thought, okay, that's enough, because I know there's going to be a hardcover collection of this one day. It's just too much of an epic story not to release in hardcover format. This collects the 5-issue miniseries called The Last Ronin. It is 224 pages. So much like titles like The Dark Knight Returns or Days of Future Past, this starts off in a future. I mean, it is a dark future where we meet this turtle right here, who's talking to himself. and hearing the voices of others. And right off the bat, this particular mutant turtle is wielding the weapons of the classic turtles, so Leonardo, Michelangelo, Donatello, and Raphael. And you don't really know much until you get a little bit into the book, whether he's a new character or whether he is an old version of one of the turtles. And sure enough, you find out that he is an old man, or an old mutant rather, that has gone through hell, that has seen his brothers, his whole family, his friends just murdered in front of him. And we'll get to that in a little bit. That's not much of a spoiler. That kind of sets up the things here. There's a lot of twists in here that happen. We find out that there is the Foot, and now they are in charge of New York. They're in charge of New York City, and this particular old turtle is sneaking back into New York to make sure he fills the request of his family, that he honors their final wishes, and that is to get revenge on the Foot. Because, of course, the Foot Clan and the Ninja Turtles have had a history, ever since Orokohiroto, Shredder, and Splinter, both of them coming at odds with each other. Ever since then, they've had a history together. So, in this particular future, we do have a new character. His name is Orokohiroto. He is in charge of the Foot Clan. He is pretty much sitting on top of his tower and just kind of not expecting a mutant Ninja Turtle to come up and try to attack him. But that's exactly what happens. This particular turtle climbs up different levels of this tower and tries to reach this particular Orokohiroto. So in here we learned that there was a huge fight. This particular turtle lost his brothers, and it gives you a sense of loneliness. It gives you a sense of despair, of kind of not letting go of the past because it was such a horrific thing that happened. Now, are you going to find out exactly who this turtle is? What happened to the rest of the brothers? What happened to their friends? Absolutely. Will you see appearances by some characters from the past? Yeah, there's going to be some Easter eggs in here, but as well as some maybe returning characters. That's all I will say about that. But man, just this whole bleak future and having this character walk around. And the saddest thing, I'm not going to flip too much through the middle here. I do have to show some pieces of art, like the Eastman stuff. But the fact that he's talking to himself, and not just talking to himself, but having a conversation, an argument sometimes, that he hears his brothers. Now, you can try to put two and two together by the dialogue boxes and go, obviously that's so-and-so. Oh, that's definitely has to be so-and-so. And then you can figure out who the last remaining turtle is. I'm going to say something, though. No matter what, you are going to be a little disappointed if this is not your favorite turtle. If this is not the turtle that you chose as a kid, you were wearing their colors, or you and your brother or sisters would fight over who got to be this turtle, you might be disappointed. We all have our favorites. And that's all I will say about that. You'll have wonderful scenes like this. He's looking at Splinter's journal. He's looking at all four of the weapons that once represented each individual turtle. And, he keeps apologizing. He has survivor's guilt. He keeps saying, I'm sorry, I failed. I love this. This gives you a sense of despair, but also gives you a sense of hope, because you see him riding this motorcycle into this tower. You see him try to take out these foot soldiers, or now they're like synthetic foot soldiers. I think they're called Zinjas or something like that. It's definitely a sense of redemption, like he's honoring that last mission that his family that they were all on. Now, these flashback scenes right here are done by Ben Bishop, and the Escorzas are the ones in charge of the future scenes. You'll have flashback scenes like this throughout the entire book. Little by little, you get to find out what happens to the characters and how the last remaining turtle, the last remaining Ronin, a masterless samurai, is the one left standing. But yes, these type of flashbacks here are done by Ben Bishop. And then you get other types of flashbacks. You get these flashbacks here by Kevin Eastman. And these kind of set up the survivor part of the story, like how this particular turtle was able to survive, how this particular turtle was able to get out of the city, and where that turtle has been. But you do have new characters, new supporting cast, and like I mentioned, the Orokohiroto, you have a new villain. And I will say, without going into spoilers, that's probably the one I'm kind of disappointed in this particular story. And there's really very little for me to complain about this. I will say that the villain kind of left me, not quite Shredder, obviously. I mean, Shredder really set the bar, and Karai really set the bar for what villain should be. But, I get it. You have to have this. Well, never mind. You can read it for yourself. But this is the action sequences, the way they look. Now, I did mention a little bit earlier about, I love the fact that they added Peter Laird's name to this. Because Peter Laird, he gets top billing, story by. This was a story that they wrote that years ago, decades ago. This is something that they wanted to do, both Eastman and Laird, when they were still working together. And, of course, they kind of went their separate ways. Laird signed away his rights to Turtles. That's a different story, but they honored those plot lines by giving him top billing. So Eastman and Tom Waltz were the ones that kind of brought this idea back to IDW and wanted to tell a story of the final Turtle, especially after reaching the 100th issue. Where do you go from here? Well, this is where they wanted to go. So heavily inspired by, of course, The Dark Knight Returns, here we have The Last Ronin, and Peter Laird's notes are still in here. So a lot of the story was based on what he wanted to do. So you have this character right here that appears in the first issue, and I can't quite give away what her name is because, well, you'll find out for yourself. But she works almost like his Carrie Kelly to The Dark Knight. Here we have the Sensei, the Last Ronin, and his new pupil. And the reason I showed this page is because this is from part 4. You don't have the covers. You only have the cover to issue number 1. That's in here. The rest of the covers are all the way in the back. So think of it like a Jonathan Hickman book, where the covers don't separate the chapters. So let's look at these extras. Now, I am only going to show the ones that don't spoil anything, like this mysterious figure. Of course, very Dark Knight Returns, right? Very Frank Miller, which, of course, was the inspiration for the foot to begin with because of the hand. And this is one by Mateos Santaloco, who is an amazing artist. Don't let the red bandana fool you. That's what they all wore in the original comics. It wasn't until really the TV show that they decided to have their own identity because, hey, we got to sell toys. Sophia Campbell, who is currently the writer and artist on the title. Censoring the one on the left because that one is a spoiler and I had to skip a few of these. But here on the right hand side is Freddie Williams II. I don't even know. I guess that might be Oroko. Hiroto. I don't know. But that's Justin Rowland and Kevin Eastman. Justin Rowland from Rick and Morty. Just looks so stupid. Oh, and these are just great. These are awesome. I love that Eastman's still kicking ass, drawing these particular characters that, him and Laird created over 30 years ago in a little apartment. Oh, that is so badass. Jim Lawson over there. Now, one of the questions that I've been getting, so classic right there, that's Ben Bishop, is this a sequel, or is this the ending of the IDW series, or is it the ending of the original run, the classic Eastman and Laird? And all I will say is that this is an ending to any iteration of Ninja Turtles that you want. The characters that show up here are immediately familiar to you, whether you read the originals or whether you read the IDW run, whether you just watch the series. You know a lot of the characters that show up in here. So it feels like an ending to just everything. Not just the classic Eastman and Laird, not the IDW stuff. I mean, if you're looking at the art, yeah, it's closer to the IDW era of Ninja Turtles, but it serves as an ending. And to me, honestly, the way that it reads, if you've never picked up a Ninja Turtle comic, you're going to be okay, because if all you did was watch the TV show or watch a couple of episodes and you know who the 4 Turtles are, you know that they were led by Master Splinter, yeah, this is going to serve as, to me, one of the greatest jumping on points. This serves as something like The Dark Knight Returns to some people that never read a Batman book but knew who Batman and Robin were, and then read that, and that was like their entry gateway to like the world of Batman. I think this will do the same thing with Ninja Turtles. The book by the way, like I forgot to mention, it does have this thick glossy paper. It's printed on the same thick glossy paper that the IDW collections are printed on. And it is sewn binding with 224 pages. So it lays over really nice, whether you're in the front here or you're looking at the covers in the back. But that, as they say, is that. If you're interested in purchasing this book, don't forget to check out our sponsor, cheapgraphicnovels.com, your online home for graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They have excellent shipping and prompt and helpful service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And don't forget that CGN also takes pre-orders. That way you don't miss out on the hottest releases. And they are currently running a special promotion for you Minties. If you're a first-time customer, after receiving your order confirmation email, reply back to that email and let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way. They will then apply a free shipping promotional credit to your next order in the US. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more. And that was the content and page count and build of this hardcover. Let me know in the comments down below if you are picking it up, if you're hoping that it will be collected in the IDW Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle hardcover collections, and where you would put it exactly. If you have any more questions, leave your questions down below. If you've read it, what you thought about it, and if you think there's enough material for more. I would love to know all your comments and questions. Leave them down below. This was the Uncanny Omar. Thank you all so much for watching. Smash that like button, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. Everyone stay healthy and safe out there. Much love.